Well, the other day I noticed that Debbie had on her workbench a beautiful garnet and an unfinished casting. I see she's beginning to work on it right now. So, what have you got going on?
I'm getting ready to set this. I've got the casting pretty pre-finished. I've got a few little things that I need to adjust. I've marked the stone to match the direction I want it to go in. Marked that, so when I fit it, it's always going to go in the right direction, or in the same direction, rather. I'm not quite getting it seated, so I'm going to cut the seat a little more. This is a very interesting stone in that it's not cut in a way that I've ever seen before. These corners aren't corners, they're round.
See, the little V caps on the corners. That's a really nice way to protect corners, or rounded corners as the case may be. Okay, so you're making room for everything.
Yep.
Very good. We'll check up with you later. So you're just kind of prying those V caps open a little bit more to make space.
Yep.
It's yellow gold, 14 karat.
Yep.
So it's more malleable than the white gold, 14 karat white gold. So you've got a little more forgiveness with your material.
So it looks like I need to just do a little bit more undercutting.
You're going to want to slip it in sort of on one side,
Yeah,
and then
over here and over here.
and then you'll just not have to put as much pressure on that side.
So then I'm matching my burr to the arc of the stone.
Oh, the radius of your
Yeah.
okay. So this is that all-important bearing. Well, are you doing a bearing or just a score where it's going to bend?
No, that's bearing. That's a seat.
Okay. Sometimes they're combined, the bearing and the scoring are the same. Sometimes you have to do separate lines. But wherever you score it is where your metal will bend, where it will do your bidding. This is why we have so many pairs of pliers, because they all do a slightly different thing.
I finally found the one that worked.
It looks like you're getting close.
Yeah, I just need to take a little more off on the inside of this area. And then I'm going to ball burr all four of them to give the girdle some
Space.
room. Some room.
Yeah, you really do want to give your corners and your edges room. It's almost like you create a little cradle around them, and the pressure goes above and below on your pavilion facet and your excuse me, crown facets. Now we go to a trusty needle file just to clean up edges and flatten planes.
See, I was able to open up these two sides, but I can't open up these two because they have so much metal there. That's part of the shank.
Also, you're putting an angle on the outside of those V caps, because that's going to help direct the metal once you start tapping.
You're fine. I've done worse with him, so I've dropped him.
I like using split V caps. I think that they look really good.
Well, they're real clean when you get them all.
Is it in?
It's in.
Okay, let's get in real close here.
I didn't actually do the ball burr yet. But
Oh, okay. Wow, that looks fantastic, and it's level.
Yep, no rocking.
Oh, even better. It's a nice design. A modified bypass.
Yep. Now this ring is kind of interesting too because it is going to be top heavy. In order to counteract that,
Ooh, look at that.
I put a little bit of squareness on the bottom, but I also
Put
made
it
it wider.
wide. I counterbalance my shanks too. I think it's effective.
So it has a flare at the bottom of the shank.
Yeah,
So you don't actually have to have behind this.
that looks really great. Boy, we've got some noisy people out there.
You're bringing that down.
Good time. Come to Trios. It's a party.
It's a potty all the time.
Okay.
Okay, we'll catch up with you later. Now we've got a real Deb's eye view here.
Oh, above the bird, above the head.
Above the burr.
Oh, nice. So the ball bird just opens that space up a little bit more.
Takes the edges off,
Yeah.
the corners, so that you're not putting the gemstone into a sharp corner. It's more of a rounded thing. It's tedious though.
Yeah, with any luck, you don't.
Put it into your finger.
Yeah.
I know, those little ball bears love to bury themselves in your flesh.
And they're very sharp, so they do it quickly.
Yeah. And one of my favorites is cup burrs. Oh,
Those
God.
are nasty.
You only do that a few times.
Let's see. At least one of these is a cup burr. The others might be saw blades.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Well, they're sharp. They're sharp enough to cut metal. It's sharp enough to cut, the rest of us. Anyway, that's looking great.
Oh, yeah. That looks good. Okay.
Now hold still. See if I can get it there. Oh, yeah. Looking super. Fantastic.
So now at this point, I'm going to go in, before I set the stone, I'm going to polish the inside areas that I trimmed up when I was fitting everything and get rid of my little roll-arounds with the burrs.
So if you're looking at this, go back up there. I want to look at a little bit of a level thing here.
Mm-hmm.
So you've got the table of your stone is the flat top of your stone.
Right.
Okay, and so you want your prongs or V-caps or whatever you're using to come up almost level with that table before you start setting.
Yeah.
A little under,
Yeah,
perhaps.
it depends on the size of the stone and the shape of the stone.
Right, but you've got to allow material. It takes more material than you think. You can always cut it back,
Yeah.
but if you don't have enough to start with, you just struggle and fail and have to start over or add material. So I'd love that demonstration of your relationship there. Very nice.
Okay.
Okay. Right now she's just once again tacking her garnet in place. Garnet actually comes in every color except blue.
And if you get a color change garnet, it
You-
actually
it
does,
does,
have a
yeah.
blue tone.
It does have a
so-
blue tone. It's not a true blue, but it's blue.
Okay, looks like it's locked in.
Wow, that's good.
So now I'm just
Get in
gonna fake the rest of it.
Fake the rest of it. What-
Make it look like it's set because it's tight.
So you're going under the theory that you really don't need to have contact with all of the gold you're setting with. You're really
Right.
trying to find your major points of pressure.
And it's usually the outside edges, especially with pointy corner stones. But even though this one's not, doesn't have corners.
Oh, there, that's good. Now Deb wants to get a smaller tool and go in and finesse her setting area a little bit more.
This is where the cutout on the end of the V's comes in handy. So as I hammer the metal over, it closes that cutout up.
Ah. Toothbrush always comes in handy to get debris and wax and stuff off. Sometimes your little space that you're trying to get the metal down on is so full of debris, you can't see it.
You don't want it to, you don't want to hammer harder than,
You have to.
yeah. Okay, I'm gonna take it out and see where we're at here. Steam it off. Any luck, it won't go flying.
It won't go flying, it's not possible. However, it could still be loose.
Well, and this will tell me, you know, if I've got it stuck in there with the wax or.
Little foot pedal down there.
Nice.
No noise?
No noise.
The reason we shake it is that if it rattles, then you know it's loose. But that is looking excellent. So at this point, you just need to
Trim it.
tidy it up.
Yep.
Now Debbie is using her graver, her trusty graver, and she is trimming, carefully trimming the gold on the inside of her V-caps to make a nice right angle. Going for a right angle there?
Yeah.
And make them look really nice and sharp and tidy.
So those three are done, and this one isn't. So you can see.
Let's see, hold
Makes
still
a
there
big
for a second.
difference.
Yeah, you can see the one on the right, lower right, is a little more roundy and just not as distinct. Yeah, it's looking very beautiful where you're trimming up
Yeah.
and making everything look very finished.
Squared up and tidy.
Because oftentimes the stones they may appear quite square, but they are not. And there could be quite a bit of irregularity, so you now have to use your tools to visually create symmetry, even if it may not physically be there. Okay. That's really pretty. What's left?
I'm gonna rubber wheel the area that I just trimmed up, make sure there isn't any sharp pointy things, which there are a couple, and then polish it, and it'll be done.
All right.
Yes, I'm gonna rubber wheel.
Okay, so now Deb's rubber wheeling.
So this is a polishing wheel, and I'm just going in and hitting all those corners, those points, so they won't be sharp and catchy.
So are you worried about this stone and that wheel, or is that a reasonably safe wheel?
This one's a reasonably safe wheel, but I'm really not touching the stone.
There is no wheel that is 100% safe. There'll be some that are labeled to be stone safe, but depending on the stone and the grain of that stone, you can damage anything with anything. So we do
Get
try
in the
to.
habit of not touching the stones with anything.
It's probably a good idea. One of my favorite things to not do is to slip and hit the stone with the screw at the top of the wheel.
Oh yeah, that would be a really nasty thing.
I've done that. I try not to do that. What is this?
This is a rainbow moonstone.
Oh, nice.
I actually will tape it. So I just put tape across all the edges so that
Okay.
I could protect.
Because
the
that's super
sides.
soft. That's
Yeah.
feldspar.
Yep. Then I
What-
didn't want anything touching it. I didn't want the rubber wheel touching it. Didn't want the file touching it. So I just taped it all. And
What are your side stones?
those are Malawi sapphires.
Oh,
They're
okay.
our fair trade sapphire.
And that's a silver ring with the elements of rose gold.
Yeah, this sterling is 3% platinum, so it shouldn't oxidize.
And that's in the feldspar family, which would include labradorite, moonstone, sunstone. What else?
Taj Marine.
No, Taj Marine's diopside.
Yeah.
That's feldspar? Seriously? Oh, whoa, you learn something every day. So Deb is here at the buffing machine. She's got her vacuum on, sucking away the dust. Although she doesn't have her thing on to improve her suck. There you go. To block off that one, to get better suck on that one. So she's doing Debbie's using the inside ring buff to finish up the inside of the ring. Now she's pre-finished it, but through her setting efforts, it's likely that she's put more marks inside. And she's patched those up with her buffing braid. This is a hard felt, and she uses are you using Tripoli?
Yeah.
You know she's using Tripoli, which is a fairly aggressive, like a bobbing compound, similar to a bobbing compound you might use on a car when you're polishing in prep for painting. She uses a rubber gloves to buff with because it protects your fingers a little bit from the dirt and the heat. Because the friction causes a lot of heat in the buffing process.
Always start with the inside of the ring and work your way to the outside. So this is good for doing any of the edges, corners.
Always moving, always following your contours. Never stay in one place because you'll create divots and mar your shape. You'll change your shape. She's going to start on the big feldspar ring. This is silver. This is going to be removed much more quickly than the gold. So she could, if she wasn't paying attention, she could over polish someplace and screw up her lines.
Both of these rings have been pre-finished, so I'm just applying, the finish polish is just going in and very lightly buffing.
Now, if the wheel did happen to catch something and grab it, you want to just
Let her go.
let it go because you do not want to take your fingers with it. In fact, it's best to use a pinch grip and never put your fingers inside of your form. Never put wire wrapped around your fingers or a chain or anything.
Nope, that would cut your finger right off.
And we know of a wonderful woman who was an artist here locally who did do just that as a young woman. She cut 2 of her fingers off halfway down by polishing wire. Grabbed the wire and guillotined her fingers off. Similar horror stories of people's hair, apron strings, loose clothing. You got to be careful around this machinery.
Okay.
Now we are ready for final polish.
And in this case, the red rouge will work for the yellow gold and the silver just fine.
So this is the compound that has a lot of iron oxide in it. Same process. She's just going to polish and check, make sure she's got a nice uniform, bright finish over everything. So Deb will catch up with you later. Okay, Deb, looks like you've got it out of the cleaner. You've steamed it off. What do you think?
Looks pretty good.
Looks quite beautiful.
I'm very happy with it.
Look at that, the table's square. Of course, you couldn't screw that one up too bad. Whoa, there you are.